Good morning as the SARS helicopter goes over. That's Saskatchewan Air Rescue. It's October 6th. It's below freezing. About -3 as I set out. It was -5 when I got up this morning. That's Celsius, of course, not Fahrenheit. So that's... let's see. -3 would be about 26, 27 Fahrenheit. I guess. So I'm wearing a jacket, I'm wearing gloves, I'm wearing a hat for the first time this fall. And it was enough of a freeze last night that that's going to be, if not the end, the beginning of the end for the flowers. I thought I'd just walk along the creek today because I haven't done that this week in my usual fashion. Also, it will accelerate the falling of the leaves, as you can see them coming down there in front of me. So trees that have been hanging on are now going to start dropping their leaves more enthusiastically. It is a lovely morning, other than being below freezing. It's supposed to frost again tonight, then it warms up again. Good morning, Paul. Yeah, everywhere I look, I'm seeing leaves falling in the sunlight. Accelerated by the frost. More of them there. I don't know how well they register on the camera, but I'm certainly seeing them. I walk over here on the sunny side of the street. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. I have a fairly non-structured day today. I don't have any interviews or deadlines or anything like that. Still doing some publishing stuff. I've got my picture book that I published, What If You Could, by Lynn Hurley. Dear, you'd think I could remember. Had to make some corrections to it, and I'm having trouble uploading the new files to Ingram, so that's taking some time. I hope to do quite a bit of my own writing today. And it's time to start moving on to the next Shadowpaw Press book, which will be The Crow Who Tampered with Time. It's essentially ready to go except for finishing the cover. Page proofs have gone to the author and they've been corrected. That's a collection of essays by a Saskatchewan author that was originally published by Thistledown Press. I've also got some another author or two I need to reach out to, so some of that kind of stuff to do. But I'm going to be working on my YA fantasy novel Changers, my shape-shifting novel. Not that the novel is changing shapes, but the character does. Get up on the dike here. I don't think one night of frost will have shown any appreciable ice on the creek, but I could be wrong. We'll see if we see any patchy ice on the creek here. Can't see anything looking into the sun. Can't see the creek really because the bushes have grown up enough to make that difficult. This house has the distinct look of something that's coming down soon. Morning, Kirk in Vancouver. Get the walk out of the way first thing today. That way I'm not tempted to let it slide when I get busy later in the day. I know that's the only way that I'm religious about walking is to do it before I do anything else, but it's always been the way with exercise. It's just too easy to get too busy. Of course, if I end up with this job I was interviewed for yesterday, that'll change everything. But we'll see. That hasn't happened yet. Hello, Yassine from Morocco. It's an international audience this morning. And if you're just joining me, it is -3 Celsius. Probably be below freezing for the entire walk. It's only going to 7 or 8 today, I think. Although in a couple of days it's back up to 20, so it's just our first little taste of, I wouldn't even call this winter. Really, this is the first taste of late fall. Late fall, of course, takes you right into December, by which time it's fully winter, usually. Even if it isn't officially winter until December 21st, but that's the shortest day of the year, so by then we've usually had snow and cold. I kind of always judge it by Remembrance Day on November 11th. Some years we have snow, some years we don't. Last year we did. I know because I fell on November 11th while walking on the first snow. Okay, let's stop for our traditional look at the creek. I don't see any patchy ice on it. So it didn't quite manage to freeze overnight. It's very still. The water's just too warm still. Oh, there's I think it's a loon just went. Should pop up there again in a minute. You can see the ripples from where he went down. Well, wherever he came up, he didn't come up where he was as visible. Oh, there he is. See if he goes under again. There he goes. And he's up again. Oh, that would be cold. I think that's a loon of some sort. I keep wanting to think they're cormorants, but I don't think we have cormorants. But for some reason, I've just been seeing more of those this year. Or noticing them more. I don't know that anything has changed, but it's very pretty with the reflectiveness of the water today being as still as it is. And with the autumn colors. I'll walk a little further today too. I'll go under the Pasqua Street Bridge and over to the other side of Pasqua. And then under the Louvain Bridge, I'll walk all the way over to the Italian Club, I think, which I often do, and back from there. That stretches it out to pretty much an hour. If I just do my more ordinary creek walk, it's only about 45 minutes. Very blue sky, not a cloud to be seen. You can see my breath. That counts. Waterfall Park over there. Of course, the other thing I need to do is start serious work on my nonfiction book. which I not only got a grant for, but and here it is already October, but have a publisher that's tentatively interested in it. So the first task is to write a sample chapter and kind of a bit more detail for that publisher. If I could get a contract up front, that would be grand. But I do still want to do a little bit of work on my fiction. I don't want to let that. So we'll go down through the trees today, probably because it's pretty, and before long these will be all snowed in. So we'll take the scenic route here. At least for a portion of the way. Not that the trees are particularly colorful along here. So the nonfiction book is based on my podcast, The World Shapers, where I talk to other science fiction and fantasy authors about the creative process, and that's what it will be about. I will focus on some of the biggest names I've interviewed for marketing reasons, and explore different approaches to the creative process of creating science fiction and fantasy, and throw in my own thoughts on the matter as well. It's a nice path. It doesn't have that wilderness feel that the one I walked on Monday does. You have to be a little careful. It's very close to where you could start sliding down the hill there into the water. And it's a little slippery because of the frost, but not too much. The frost is mostly melted off here in the sun. I'll probably get warm enough to take my hat off after a while here. Maybe not my gloves, because your fingers get colder. Especially when one of them is holding up this gimbal. The morning light is nice here too, with the sun shining through the leaves. One branch there, I got my feet tangled in. I will slip out here back onto the main path. Maybe I'll vary what I do a little bit and walk down this side and then over the bridge instead of crossing the first footbridge I come to here. Maybe. I'll decide when I get there. Baseball diamonds over here, of course. Well, not of course, but of course if you've watched this before. They're still there. And over here is the horseshoe pitch, for the pitching of horseshoes. An interesting sport. Don't know who originated it. It's been around a long time. Since the days of horses, one would think, when horseshoes were more common. Obviously, there are still horseshoes because there's still lots of horses. I wonder who makes them. They must be made in some sort of big factory now and not hammered out individually, each one by a smith, one would think. Now the creek is over there. Well, it always was, but it's further away. Yeah, I'm getting close to my head being too warm, despite it still being below freezing. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll walk down the creek on this side today along the path and go over the Pasco Street Bridge and then down on the other side back onto the bike path and carry on that way. Just to be a little different. Argyle Street, if you're following along on Google Maps. My shadow. Hello. Me and my shadow strolling down the avenue. You can see the footbridge showing through the trees there that we are not going to cross today. Pretty though. This is the first dog we've actually crossed paths with, although I saw one in the distance. Morning. Like I said, if I ever set up my bingo cards, you'll always be able to get the dog spot. Again, we will not cross that footbridge today, though we normally do. But you can see it at least. We're going to go down this way and follow the path on this side today. Duck under the willow. This bit of a berm here for flood control. Because the creek doesn't have to rise very far before it's up here in the spring, and I'm sure it has. Although it's lower on the other side, so the water tends to go that way. There's a low spot up here that always floods in the spring. It can be very hard walking around here in the spring to find a dry path. As you can see if you go back to my walks from that time period. just open parkland over on this side. Ooh, unexpected dip in the path there. Always a hazard because I don't look at my feet like I would if I was normally walking. I don't check the path ahead of me as much because I'm looking at the phone image. You know, make sure I'm pointing where I'm going to point. So every once in a while, I will surprise myself like that. Reflections there in the water. Coming up to the Pasco Street Bridge, we'll cross that and get down on the path on the other side. Slippery here where the leaves are because they have frost on them in the shade. It's kind of already melted off in the sun. Here's the bridge. On the other side where the path is, you go under it, but we will have to go over it. Oh, I think I'll take off my hat. It's refreshing. I'm looking for a place where you can actually see the frost on the grass, but it's there, but it's kind of subtle. Right, so when it's safe to do so, we will cross Pasco Street here, which I think it will be once this car goes by. Gives us another look at the creek from this bridge. There's a bit of a weir down there, which we'll see better in a minute. And then the Louvain Bridge, which will go under. There's the park we came from. Over there in the distance, you can see downtown and the cathedral spires, which are closer than downtown. Here's where we turn to make our descent back onto the path. Voila. And school board canoes there, I think those are, because that's what they use for kids on the creek for canoeing and phys ed. I think that's usually, I don't know if that's in the spring or in the fall they do that. Maybe both, I don't know. Good morning. Trying to read that. Koi. Now onto the Louvain Bridge. As you can see, the Louvain is a busier road. It's kind of, Albert Street is the downtown north-south route, and this one is a bit more not exactly a bypass, but it's faster and further over to the west of the baseball field. So you wouldn't want to cross that one on foot. At least I wouldn't. Not jaywalk, that is. Sure, people do, but we'll go under the Louvain Bridge here. Now, where's that weir? Oh, there it is. Oh, there's very little water pouring over it today. It's a water control, like a level control weir. So, I don't know how they adjust it, but it must be adjustable or that wouldn't make sense. Sometimes the water's just pouring over it, but the water's fairly low right now, it looks like. So that keeps the levels up east along the creek under these conditions. Big high berm over there, dike. I sometimes stood up there on a walk. Right, we go under the bridge, 4 lanes of traffic. The reason that crossing it on foot is a ridiculously stupid thing to do. It's very wide. Cars going over our heads, or my head anyway. Probably not where you are, unless you live under a bridge. But you might, I'm not judging. You could be a troll. On the internet, nobody knows. There are trolls on the internet, but they don't generally live under bridges. It's not the traditional kind of trolls. The old joke is, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. But that applies to trolls, too. I could be a troll, pretending to be a human. Mostly successfully. It's a golf course on the other side there. Those trees are up on the Craig golf course. Although why exactly they put a sign to it here when you can't get there from here, I don't know. It's on the other side of the creek. And there's no bridge. There's no bridge on this side to cross the creek at all. You'd have to go back up and come up the other side of the Louvain Bridge or something like that. Or go all the way up here to 13. That's where those lights are in the distance. That's where we will cross back the other way once we get there. Definitely fewer people on the path on a chilly morning. Admittedly, it's a Thursday, but we'll see. Tomorrow morning around the lake, it'll be below freezing too. So, at least when I start. So we'll see if the numbers are down. When it's hot, you get more people in the morning because that's the cooler time. But as it starts to get cold and dark, you get fewer people in the morning. And if I do what I did last year and walk around when it's minus 35 with the wind chill, I'll probably be the only person on the path, which, you know, is okay, but it does cross your mind that if something happened, like you fell or had a heart attack or something, or lying there, you'd freeze to death before anybody found you. Although I do have my phone with me, obviously, so, and hopefully somebody watching would call 911 if I suddenly went down and stopped moving. Getting closer to the creek again as big rolls of something. Very still here too, not surprisingly. Not perfectly still. There is a ripple in the water, but quite still. These things all point to Olympic cities. Sochi, for example, and it has a distance on it too, but I couldn't read it in the sun. There you can see the Craig Golf Course over there. It's kind of a natural course, so they don't do watering of the rough or the fairways. They would mow it. It may have sand greens too, I suspect it does. Never played it. Par 3, I think. Never seen anybody playing it, but there it is. Somebody must play it. Also don't see any hole flags, so it may be closed for the season. I think that'd still be part of the course here because of the little trees. Possibly I'm off the end of the course here. Yeah, I guess I probably am. Now we're going to go around the bend. Some people would say I went around the bend years ago. Point it this way, so if you point it that way, all you see is cars going by. We're going to climb up over that dike in a minute or two. See the rushes. That's the Sandra Schmerler Curling Club over there, and then the airport's back that way. You can just see the top of the tower if you know where to look. I'll be there in today's Thursday? A week from today. Actually, I'm flying to Ottawa for CanCon, which is a science fiction convention. Will I do a walk in Ottawa? I'm not promising anything, but I might. It's certainly a place to walk. And I'll be close enough downtown I could go down by the Parliament buildings and all that government stuff. Over there you see people. That's the off-leash dog park. And then the prairie is out that way once you get past those trees. Well, it's all prairie, but farmland is out that way once you get past those trees. Again, airport down that way, and a bunch of other sort of industrial, like FedEx's depot is down here and things like that. And the curling rink, as I said. We're going to go down there. I think there's a bit of a path here, so we'll take this. So, say goodbye to the off-leash dog park. We're headed to the Italian club over there. This isn't actually a path, but it'll get me down. Oh, and it's got a gopher hole in the middle of it. Maybe it's a gopher run, if there are such things. No need to go by the club over there. Let's just go back this way. Okay, so we've turned the corner. Now we're heading home. I am, anyway. This will bring us around to a street. And then we can go around another corner and it'll take us to the blue van up there, where we will cross at the light with a walk light because that's the only safe way to do it. I don't know what this street is called. There's no street sign at this end. A little patch of greenery. Regina has lots of green space. Part of the city plan. I don't know if you could call it a park, but it's a little patch of green with some trees, so it's a mini park. That's an empty lot. Presumably somebody owns it and could build a house there, although it looks like it's been empty for a long time. The grass is mowed, which is nice. Playground coming up here. I'd say it's a really quiet neighborhood, except of course you can hear the traffic on the Louvain all the time. They don't get a lot of traffic themselves, being off the beaten path here. And with the construction of the bypass, if you were leaving town, you'd probably go out that way. I've come in this way. It's a bit of a drive, but then you reach the bypass, which is a fast, speedy road around the town. I've been ill? No, I haven't been ill. Why would you say I had been ill? What did I say that made you think I had been ill? I've been perfectly well. Autumn playground. My walking schedule has been all over the place, but I haven't been ill. I was away. We were in Vancouver and Kelowna. And as I said, next week I'll be in Ottawa for about 4 days. There on Thursday, come back on Monday. In fact, I'm doing a mini book launch for Shapers of Worlds Volume 3 while I'm there. I have a friend in Ottawa, went to university with my wife, and had some books shipped to her, which I will have a launch with, and then I'm hoping I can get back to Phoenix to take any leftovers for their stock. They're the big science fiction bookstore in Toronto, not far from where my daughter lives, actually. And they're going to be providing book selling services at CanCon. Well, we just missed that, so this will be a bit of a wait. This is the corner of 13th and Louvain. That's looking down 13th. That's looking up Louvain. The exhibition grounds are up there. Mosaic Stadium is behind those trees. You can't see it from here. You go the other way, that takes you down south to Harbour Landing. Then the airport. Airport first, then Harbour Landing. We hit this really badly, so it's a long wait. And watch the cars go by. See why you wouldn't want to jaywalk. They drive about 80 kilometers an hour along here, or faster if they're speeding. There we go. Should change in a minute. There'll be a left turn signal. There, that one's going yellow. So I think we'll get it right away. Yeah. We'll just stay on this side of the creek all the way home because I'm already on the same side as the house. Walk through this little park. I think we'll walk down 14th. Which is where this will come out. Or is it 15th? It's 14th. 14th is the one they put in a bike lane on. May have warmed up above freezing by now. It's hard to tell. In the sun, it certainly is above freezing, I think. Or right around freezing. In the shade, it's probably still freezing. But again, the frost was subtle last night. I haven't seen big white patches of frost. I know there's frost there, but it isn't terribly visible this morning. That will change. Won't be long before it's frosting every night. Won't be long before it snows. And this turns into a white walk, and I become a white walker. Game of Thrones humor there. There's not a lot of humor in Game of Thrones, but take what you can get. See, this is a bike path over here. Stay in the sun. Which we will be walking into, so maybe I'll actually go to the shady side just to ease my eyes. Colder, but easier to see. Sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. There you go. Your wish is my command. It's stuck at my head, of course, which is kind of annoying. Yes, now here we go along 14th. Sun is still mostly in my eyes. I can't see the screen at the moment. Oh, I got shade, but only on my feet. I thought when I got into that shade, I'd be able to see the screen. Well, singing is one of the things I do. In fact, I was rehearsing just last night for a production that's coming up of Regina Lyric Musical Theatre, formerly Regina Lyric Light Opera's 45th anniversary. I've been involved for 34 of those 45 years. Used to be on the board, used to be president. So we've got a one night only concert coming up with people singing songs from past shows, and I'm singing a song from The Most Happy Fella. There's a character, the main character is called Tony Esposito, and I played him some 25 years ago now. My heart is so full of you, so full of you. That's the song. And I'm also in the Night Music Quartet, which is also something I did in the original production of A Little Night Music. Oh, dogs. Stephen Sondheim musical. So we were rehearsing that last night too. Then there's a couple of chorus numbers. Hail Poetry and something else maybe. I should know, but we haven't rehearsed it yet, so I don't really. Well, at least My Heart Is So Full of You is now the song stuck in my head. Oh, leaves dropping on my head. Walking along 14th will take us on the south side of Connaught School, which is a new school that replaced an old school. The old one one was built 1914 or something, was not in good shape, and they decided to tear it down and build a new one. Of course, there were protests about that, but in the end, it's a much, much better school than it was. And I would hate to see Davin School suffer a similar fate. It was built in the 20s. It's in better shape. The one my daughter went to. But selfishly, happy to have that old school in our neighborhood. Happy for the kids over here to have the new school in the Knott neighborhood. It's a very yellow garage. Or as they say here, garage. Never picked up that pronunciation. Learned garage in Texas, and it's stuck. It has stuck. I refuse to change my pronunciation of that word. I don't like garage. Or what were the others I noticed as a kid when I moved up here? Lever instead of lever. People would say fridge instead of refrigerator. I admit I probably have started using fridge because it's shorter. We always notice they turned film into film as if it had a U in it, which it doesn't. Oh, and drama is the other one. Because, of course, I was interested in theater. And people here tend to say drama. Or they did, anyway. I don't like the sound of that. Drama. So it will always be drama for me, he said dramatically. So you say dramatically, you don't say dramatically. That alone proves that it should be drama, not drama. I rest my case. Soon I will rest myself once I get home. Where there is coffee awaiting, and a nice warm computer. The question is, do I stay at home or do I go out to write today? Always a choice. Choices must be made. I've got something in my calendar tomorrow for an interview, but I can't find any information about it. So I'm not sure if that's still happening or not. It's a fairly cryptic note. It's just a name. And when I search my email, I can't find this name. I'll do a little more search and hopefully it'll turn up, because I'd hate to miss an interview I'm supposed to conduct for the World Shapers. If an author's expecting me. There's Knott School over there. And a school bus, just to prove it's a school. Which means we are coming up on the Elphinstone corner. Past these cars, I'll look at the school again. So as you can see, it's a very nice school, very modern, far superior to the old one that was torn down, despite the protests. A lot of that is by, parents who went there or wanted their kids to go to the same school they did, or already had kids in the school and become attached to it. But it only takes to get the last few students who went to the old school out of there, and the new, I'll go over here where the crosswalk is. The new students are thrilled to have a new school and couldn't care less about the old school. Ancient history. When you're 8, ancient history is anything that's like 5 years ago. Okay. We'll use the crosswalk here so that we're safe. And I'll move over to the shady side again, because the house is in that direction. Oh, I see. Well, I was confused the other day. I walked down the street and I thought, I'm going to cross over again now, just having done that. I was walking in this area and I went by a fence and I thought it was the fence that normally had kids artwork on it, and it was all gone. And I thought, oh no, because I think there's a daycare or something. And they always put up kids' artwork on the fence. But no, I had the wrong fence, which I should have realized because this one is painted in rainbow colors and the other one was just brown. So here, our local art gallery. Kind of spooky. I'd say that's a Watership Down reference myself, but maybe not. Oh, but the fence is here, but there's no artwork. Okay, so I was half right. But yeah, the gallery on 14th they call it, but there's no artwork on it. So I don't actually know where the artwork comes from. If there's a daycare, or if it comes from the school, or what. Oh, and there's a turtle in the front. Anyway, I'm glad to see it's still kind of there, but I hope some artwork appears in it again. This is what our streets look like around here. We're now turning down 14th to 15th. And first, there's another short street which we will go down. This must have been the one I was on. And I thought was that one back there would be my guess. Let's see if I guess right. No, because there's no fence at all here, so I don't know where I was. And I got confused. Oh, maybe up there. Maybe it was this fence up here that I thought was the fence with the artwork. And it's just a fence. Sometimes a fence is just a fence. Please don't take offense. If you take offense, you won't be able to keep the dogs out of the yard, or in the yard. This was the one I went by and I thought, didn't this used to have artwork on it? But I had the wrong fence. Crunchy leaves, good place to walk for that reason alone. Okay, carrying on. The next street down will be 15th. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, woof, woof. Little yellow house with a blue porch. Kind of a row houses over here, which must have been, I don't know if it was built as that or if it was something else at one point. I think it must have been built like that. I don't know how old they are. It's hard to say if that's an old building that was refurbished or a new building. I think it's a new one. Newish. I mean, it's been there as long as I've been in Regina, but newer than the really old buildings in this neighborhood. More garage art. I think there's some on each of the, let's go down this way for that reason. There's some on each of the garage doors here. So this will take us then to, I guess it's an alley first, and we'll eventually we will reach College, which connects to Angus Crescent, which takes me home. Take me home, Regina roads, to the place I belong, Angus Crescent, Cathedral neighborhood. Too many syllables. Take me home, Regina roads. First thing I have to do when I get home is try to figure out this PDF problem that's keeping me from uploading revised files for the picture book I published. Hopefully I can get that figured out. It seems to me I ran into the problem the first time I uploaded it, but I thought I was done, so I forgot about it, how I did it, and now I have to figure out how to do it again. To the right. Well, there was frost last night, but those flowers seem to have come through it pretty good. They don't look too nipped. This connects to Leopold Crescent, and we're 2 crescents down. There's Connaught, which is a half crescent. No, wait a minute. That's wrong. Angus comes first. We're just 1 block from here. When I first moved to the neighborhood, I lived down at the end of this street, the last block on this street. I like this yellow house here. I think it's pretty. One of the older ones in the neighborhood. Okay, that looks very good in the fall, especially. So only about 5 minutes from home from here, should be. Again, I like the way the sun shines through the leaves this time of year in the mornings. And here we go down Angus Crescent, Angus Crescent, Angus Crescent. Here we go down Angus Crescent so early in the morning. It's downhill from here. When I was jogging, 2 years ago now that I was jogging, when I realized my knees wouldn't take it and I switched to walking. It's always a pleasure to turn the corner there and start jogging downhill. I'd rather keep my legs good than improve anything by starting to jog at my age. Walking is for me. Apparently this is a very nice house. I haven't been inside it, but my wife was on one of the Davin School home tours. It was one of her favorites. The Mountier residence. 1929 says the sign in front. It's not quite 100 years old. Ours is actually 3 years older than that. Built in 26. We will reach 100 in 4 years. Our house will. Be sometime after that before I reach 100. Hopefully I'm out here live streaming on my 100th birthday. Let's make a date. July 20th, 2059. I'll be here if you are. Possibly. Seems a reasonable goal. red tree there. It's not actually fall colors. Some of these trees just turn purple. There's a particular species that does that. That happens actually late in the summer. They put out fresh green leaves in the fall and in the spring, and by summer's end it's all turned purple. And very nice house on that corner. Alright, well, here's the corner where we stop. Halfway down the crescent is a corner where I stop, where I sit. There isn't any other corner quite like it. They've already got it posted for for leaf removal. There's going to be a ton of leaves after they sweep the streets if they do it that early. Okay, we will stop here. Looking up there towards Davin School. Thank you for walking with me. Tomorrow should be a walk around the lake.